Recorder. We'll begin with that pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, indivisible, with liberty.
Next on the agenda, is the adoption of the agenda. There are motions?
Move to adopt the agenda as it was presented.
Move, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Move to second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. It is adopted.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna move on to public comment. We have Jose Hernandez here with us today.
Buenas tardes.
Dale.
No, está bien así. Voy a hablar fuerte. ¿Cómo están?
Bien.
Me encantó la junta. Estuve escuchando todo eso. El valle estuvo perfecto. Muy bien. Lo único que no llegó a tiempo, ¿verdad? Para que poderlo ver el público. Bueno, tengo una carta aquí que es de parte del DIPAC. Dice, por medio de la presente queremos agradecerles por las delicadas funciones que realizan en nuestro distrito y la comunidad. Nosotros los miembros del DIPAC queremos clarificar ante la junta directiva del distrito de los comentarios realizados en la reunión de la semana pasada por la señora Remigio, la cual no se autorizó a ningún momento a ser nuestra vocera de dicha reunión. De igual manera, la señora Remigio hizo mención de aquella pertenencia al grupo de padres de valor, de la cual sí está haciendo mención del concilio escolar. Queremos ratificar que en ningún momento se trató asuntos como los mencionados por ella de la reunión de la junta directiva del distrito de la semana pasada. Los comentarios emitidos por la señora Remigio son comentarios personales independientes del grupo de padres, así también de los padres que pertenecen al concilio escolar de la escuela Valor. Sin más, por el momento, se despide José Hernández. Bueno, también formo parte de padres también, del DIPAC, por lo cual también puedo visitar las escuelas y también sé las necesidades que también hay en la escuela, ¿verdad? Entonces, muchísimas gracias por el tiempo que se toman en tomarnos en cuenta como padres y estamos dispuestos a ayudar a la comunidad aquí como padres voluntarios, sin ningún sueldo de nada, solamente porque amamos el futuro de nuestros hijos y queremos que ellos siempre tengan buen futuro. Y muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Por favor, póngase de pie los DIPAC.
Si quieres leer los nombres, ya se fueron.
Bueno, ya están de pie. Ellos son padres de aquí de la comunidad, que son María Guadalupe, Roda Sánchez, Leticia Correa, Karina, José Hernández, Karen Díaz, Elia Ramos, Erika Ramos, Dina López. Y así puedo seguir la lista de padres, que así como nosotros, somos pocos los que estamos en un grupo, ¿verdad? Pero así somos toda la comunidad. Y por lo cual, como voluntarios, queremos apoyar nuestra comunidad, porque aquí vivimos de nuestro hogar. Y por eso es que nosotros nos preocupan todas las cosas que pasan a nuestro alrededor. No solamente en nuestro distrito, también compartimos la información con nuestros distritos vecinos, como Jervis, Harvard, o, ¿por qué no?, Kemby, ¿verdad? Porque tenemos la información adecuada. Y es por eso que nosotros queremos que siempre esté al tiempo la información. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias a usted.
¿Me permiten hacer un comentario?
No lo envió antes de la junta, ¿verdad?
Es una pregunta lo que les estoy haciendo. ¿Puedo hacer un comentario sobre el comentario de la semana pasada?
I would suggest no, but it's ultimately your decision.
Vamos a tener que seguir con la agenda porque tenemos puntos quieren tomar.
Mi
Pero,
comentario, bueno, si usted no me lo permite, yo lo voy a decir. Porque está en una carta pública. Y ustedes escucharon bien claro la carta que yo leí. Yo nunca vine representando el programa del IPAC, jamás. Yo dije que los padres que veníamos apoyando a los maestros del distrito, más nunca dije padres del IPAC. Y me dijo la señora Sonia que hay un video. Y qué bueno, porque ese video, ayer, esa es una evidencia. Y la verdad estoy bien indignada escuchar la carta. Yo jamás dije que venía representando a los padres del DIPA, porque yo no soy mentirosa, ni chismosa tampoco. Y aquí me están haciendo quedar como chismosa. Yo no lo hice.
bueno,
Y lo estoy
Ya
aclarando,
ya lo aclaro.
y lo estoy aclarando adelante de todos aquí, y más de ustedes.
Muy bien, ya lo aclararon, entonces vamos a seguir con lo que.
Ok,
sí,
adelante.
gracias. Okay, so next we have board action item. The first one. is Bill, yeah.
Tag team.
Tag team. Okay, you wanna do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so every year, by June first, the board needs to establish the number of, students that they will allow to enroll newly in from out of district. Not people who live in, people who move here and within our boundaries, they're automatically allowed in. And in the past, we've decided to do certain strands to, allow news coming in. Although we've seen a small decrease, as it says there in the memo on K through 8, our high school programs are very full. And so we believe we can maintain the programs of people who are already there, of course, who come from out. But we are recommending that we do not open any of the programs in elementary, middle school. And the current 9 through 12 can stay at 2024. But so we have to do this each year. You know that, but we don't think it's prudent for us to, and we do this now. We've had some, as you recall, we had 2 different ones come this year to appeal to the board, and then you can, so by policy, the superintendent would deny them, and then they would still have an ability to appeal. In the cases that you overturn, those made sense because of where they lived and the situation. But we're recommending we continue that.
Can I add
Yeah.
a comment to that, Joe, too? One thing, I think this year will be kind of I don't want to use the word trial and error, but just, we will get to see what the CBA reflects in class sizes for K3. We've never had cap sizes in classes, so I think this year will allow us to see if we do need to recommend something different for the following school years. Just to honor and make sure that we're honoring the CBA. So, don't be surprised if next year we do close or cap K3.
On average, how many do you have?
So last year we received 29, and that doesn't reflect the number of students that move. But 29, the majority of those are kinder students. So I would say maybe of the 29, at least maybe 15 to 20 are incoming kinders, which is where the cap sizes in the CBA is. And so next year we might want to look at that. The way the interdistrict transfer law reads is you can actually close also programs. I shouldn't say we never, when I first started, we used to cap incoming Russian program kinders at 15 transfers. Because at that point, we were seeing a lot of incoming kinder or Russian program. And so our cap was always 15. It was very rare. I think one year we reached it, but other than that, we didn't reach it. And then after our enrollment started decreasing, then we didn't recommend a cap. We just said open. But high school, we still see a large population. And then my guess is on high school too, that once kind of that bubble bursts, we will then be able to accept high school transfers. But until we see decrease in enrollment at high school, we won't be able to.
So what happens if we get to that limit? If we're going to make a decision, let's say next year, we have a lot of transfers and we're at that limit. Do we need to get back together and close it then?
So since this is adopted year by year, you won't be able to, once you allow students in, you have to honor that for that school year. So you wouldn't be able to then go back and cap it. We would have to wait until, so the district will have to accommodate that need. The kind of the flexibility where it does lie in the district is that when we approve a family, we approve their transfer, we really let them know this is you're approved to transfer into our district, and placement will be based on availability. We do try to honor requests for certain schools, especially if there's siblings already placed in those schools, but that might change this year. We don't know. We haven't, once the kinders are placed, then we'll be able to really see what these numbers look like.
Motion?
I put their recommended motion.
I'll make a motion and have a question. I move to approve the open inter-district transfer slot for the following programs: elementary, middle school, and current Woodburn School District students in 9th to 12th grade for the 23-24 school year.
For a second? Second. Further question?
So if we admit a student, do we get state school funds for that student?
Yeah,
Yes.
they essentially become our student officially. Both districts have to agree to that.
So if the district that they're leaving doesn't agree, then what happens?
We don't accept students, so that's called, there's another term for admission of students,
Of non-residents.
of non-resident students. I mean, I guess we could accept, we would have to read our policy. I don't want to speak on, we have a policy for that. So technically, I guess if the parent is willing to pay the tuition, depending on what the policy says, we would be able to, but they wouldn't fall under inter-district transfer. That's kind of like the parent would pay the tuition. I haven't seen that yet in the last 10 years. I have seen some districts deny or close their district on releasing students.
We're not gonna.
Right.
Yeah,
So for a while, it was and it just sunset 2 years ago, I think, or three, right pre-pandemic, so maybe 3 or 4 years ago. There used to be a law that did not allow you to not let them go. So forever, you could deny them to leave and they would have to pay. And then it became a law and it lasted for 5 to 7 years, and then eventually that sunset and then did not renew it. So most districts let their students go because it's kind of an ebb and flow, right? We have some people who come from Jervis who'd rather come here. We have people who go to Jervis. So it just, it really depends. So it's not a huge outflux or influx. So you can see that the total was what, 29, is that correct? Yeah, 29 total. So it's not an overrunning kind of a thing, but that law had a sunset, but it used to be that you could deny, and it's back to that now, but it's rare that you see people deny people wanting to go, because you want people to be happy in the schools they're going to, and they often have a reason.
Any other questions?
I guess my question, you mentioned how many do ask to transfer, but do you know, how many families or how many students end up moving just because they move into town as well?
how many transfer out?
Not transfer out, but because this is only reflective of those that don't live within our service district.
Oh, the other piece, right,
Yeah.
where it says the number.
Yeah.
I don't have an exact number. I can pull that number for you. I will say that in the last 2 or 3 years, last year and this year in particular, I've seen a lot of transfers in and out of students that have moved. And my theory is that housing, people are getting pushed down the Willamette Valley. And so now I'm working with districts from Tiger Tualatin, Wilsonville, Portland Public, which that was really rare. But I'm seeing a lot of that in the last 2 or 3 years. And again, my theory is that housing and affordability is causing people to shift down, but they still want to attend where their children grew up. So it's to me, it's sad, honestly, that where people have grown up and know, they're not able to attend those schools anymore. And same with our students that have moved. That's why I like to include it. This number doesn't reflect students that move, but I'd be happy to provide that number for you.
I'm sure that same thing's happening here.
It is. Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm.
Any other comments or questions?
You need a vote.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion approved. So item 2 today is the superintendent search criteria and policy directives. We left off with, surveying the public and staff, and then gonna share results today.
Yeah, so in front of you, I've included first a staff survey. We had 335 responses, and this survey opened on Thursday, I believe. Our meeting was on Tuesday. Yeah, I believe it was on Thursday. And I closed it this morning just because I didn't work yesterday. So it was closed this morning. And these are your results here. It's pretty split in supporting hiring an internal candidate for interim or supporting a permanent, hiring a permanent superintendent. But question 1, supporting an internal candidate for interim superintendent, had 5 more votes than hiring a permanent superintendent. So those were the results for staff, from staff. And then in your other packet are the results from parents. And we did send this survey in English, Spanish, and Russian, and so you'll have 3 different reports there. And on the English survey, you had more in support of hiring an internal candidate for interim superintendent than for a permanent. In the Spanish survey, you had more in support of also interim. And then same for Russian. That last one is the Russian. And so overall, you have more people in support of hiring an interim superintendent. And I want to specifically state that we did ask that they support hiring an internal candidate for interim superintendent for 23-24 school year and have a national search for permanent superintendent set to start for 24-25 school year, serve for 3 years. And that was the exact question that we asked, that people were majority in support of.
Thank you, Jimmy. I know that was a lot of work, kind of surprised last time around, but happy that you all pulled it up. I'm gonna open it up to the board. If you want to comment on the survey, the results that we just saw. We'll start with that.
Thank you to the district for putting this together. I know you did it with me. I wanted to see data. I wanted to see what the community said, what our staff said, etc. I mean, it looks pretty clear to me that the support is around hiring an internal candidate or internal interim candidate, and then a permanent hire next year. That's the data.
Anyone else?
Everyone else seeing it the same way.
Yeah, we can say motion I made last time. Move to hire an internal. And that was 2024 school year. And have a national search for a permanent superintendent set to start for the 2024-2025 school year. There's a second.
Who was that? Laura?
One other.
Okay, Laura.
Okay, any further discussion?
I know that I added an extra week, but I'm glad that we did it, because I wanted to see, one, if there was a lean either way, or what our communities felt about it. So thank y'all for hearing me out and wanting to see the data. I appreciate it.
And it was a lot closer than I thought. I mean, I was kind of expecting maybe a bigger shift in responses, but I mean, it's still obviously still overall point in getting the interim, but We're still part of this.
And we can say there, we need to listen to feedback. In our voting and motion and approval and stuff, we have to have a timeline.
Yeah, that's next on that. And I do want to mention that, since, OSBA helped us do our last search, you'll be able to use them and, save kind of the fund or the contract fee of using them for the search. So just kind of keep that in mind for when we bring that up again, that we would be able to use their services and pay very little compared to what the actual whole contract costs.
Yeah, I know that it's like $20,000, something like that.
Mhm.
We have to vote on this motion and then do the timing?
Yep.
Okay. So we vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion is passed. I move to adopt the following timeline to hire the interim superintendent for the 2023-2024 school year. Today, we will discuss potential internal candidate during the executive session. And we'll have between now and June 12th to negotiate the contract with the finalists. And on our June 13th meeting, we will approve the interim superintendent contract with the new interim superintendent to begin July 1st, 2023.
Second.
Move seconded, any questions on? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is passed. Then here's the next one. You do something else.
Um,
Yeah.
Isn't that after? Feedback?
yeah, it can happen, before or after. Well, my suggestion would be to have it be after.
So now, the meeting will move into an executive session. To discuss ORS 2022.60 to consider appointment of public officer employee staff number for individual visit.
Just make sure you talk loud so people can hear you.
I can make the recommendation. Recommended action, I move to have Gustavo Vela Moreno, board chair, to negotiate a new contract with the final candidate for interim superintendent.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is passed. Meeting's adjourned.